welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, you and I are heading back to Hogwarts, focusing on a really crucial time. Harry Potter's 4th year, all laid out in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Now, you like getting right to the important stuff, so we're not just going to skim the surface.
Definitely not.
We're going to unpack this year using the book itself, chapter by chapter, to really get the key events, the character shifts, the mysteries.
Starting right from that creepy Riddle House opening.
Yeah, exactly. All the way to the really shocking end of the Triwizard Tournament. Okay, let's really get into it.
Absolutely. And this here, it's amazing how Rowling weaves everything together right from the start. Little things you notice early on, they blow up later.
Totally. Let's start right there. That Riddle House opening in Little Hangleton. The old Riddles and their son Tom die. But the weird thing is, the villagers, they don't seem that bothered.
Right. That lack of sadness is so telling, isn't it? It's almost unsettling.
It speaks volumes before we even know what happened.
Exactly. It hints that, maybe if people are seen as rich, snobbish, and rude, maybe bad things happening to them don't get the same reaction. It's such a weird moral tone.
Yeah, it does. And then there's Frank Bryce, the gardener. War vet, stiff leg. He's the first suspect.
But then he overhears that conversation. That's the real hook, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. The first big clue.
Yeah, you've got Wormtail obviously scared, and this other voice, colder, weaker, talking about a plan.
And mentioning Bertha Jorkins disappearing.
Right, straight away you know something bad is up. And then that line, chills, one more death, and our path to Harry Potter is clear.
Ugh. Direct foreshadowing. That just hangs in the air.
Plants that seed of danger right at the beginning.
One more death.
Sticks with you.
Okay, so Harry's summer. Not exactly relaxing for him.
No kidding. Scar's hurting again.
Which, for us reading it now, is a huge red flag. But even for Harry then, it's deeply worrying.
It's more than just pain, isn't it? It's that direct link to Voldemort. A constant reminder.
And Hermione's reaction is so. Hermione, check a book. Tell Dumbledore.
Textbook Hermione. Yeah. Trust the rules. Trust authority. But Harry's just thinking, Dumbledore's off having a nice, quiet summer. Shows how alone he feels with this.
Yeah, that isolation. You see it in his letter to Sirius, too, right? Tucked in with news about Dudley's diet failing.
And the PlayStation. Dudley smashing his PlayStation.
Such a muggle way to have a meltdown, isn't it?
It's darkly funny, yeah. Such a contrast to the magic stuff brewing, and it shows Dudley just can't handle anything, unlike Harry.
The boom. The Weasleys crashed the party.
Yeah.
Literally. Through the fireplace.
Blue Network. The Dursleys' faces must have been priceless. Utter confusion.
It just shows that huge gap, doesn't it? Magic and Muggle worlds right there, but miles apart in understanding.
Totally. They just cannot grasp it, even for all this time, so closed off.
And Fred and George naturally caused trouble. The Tun-Tung Toffee.
Classic Weasley twins. Poor Dudley. Well, maybe not poor Dudley.
Yeah, but Mr. Weasley gets worried, right?
Yeah.
About wizard-Muggle relations. It's a fine line.
It is. The prank's funny, but Arthur's serious about the statute of secrecy, about not harming muggles. He's got strong principles.
So the twins saying Dudley's just a great bullying git. Well, it's funny, but also kind of skates near that line.
Exactly. Okay, so heading to the World Cup, loads of great little moments. Percy.
Ooh, Percy.
Obsessed with cauldron thickness, you can just picture Ron rolling his eyes into next week.
Percy's bureaucratic excitement, it reminds you that even the wizarding world has paperwork, quality control.
Ron's sarcasm is the perfect antidote.
Keeps it grounded. And Hermione, meanwhile, she's quietly asking about Sirius.
Always looking out for him, looking out for Harry. That loyalty is a constant thread.
It really is. They trust their gut over what everyone else thinks about Sirius. Says a lot.
Then Mr. Weasley's worried about Bertha Jorkins again, missing for a month in Albania.
Yeah, and Ludo Bagman just brushes it off like, oh, she's always getting lost.
Feels a bit weird, doesn't it? Especially later on, knowing about Bagman. Dismissive. Maybe distracted. Or just irresponsible. It adds a little bit of unease there.
We also get that reminder about Quidditch, Transylvania, Wales, Scotland, and Harry being a top seeker with the firebolt.
Sets the stage, reminds us of his skills. That firebolt is key. He's brilliant in the air.
And the journey itself, grabbing an old boot on a hill. Poof. Portkey.
So wonderfully mundane for such powerful magic, hiding in plain sight.
Then they arrive. Empty Moor. Suddenly, tents everywhere. The scale of it.
Massive. And Mr. Weasley's sheer delight at cooking the Muggle way, so endearing. He just loves Muggle stuff. His curiosity is great, unlike a lot of wizards.
Then Percy spots Barty Crouch and Ludo Bagman. He's bursting to talk about his cauldron report.
Oh, Percy's so eager, and Bagman just blurts out something about a big event at Hogwarts.
Right. Even though Crouch clearly looks like he wants him to shut up, that little exchange feels important.
It really does. Shows their different personalities. Percy the rule follower, Bagman less so. Hints at the Triwizard Tournament and maybe Bagman not being great with secrets.
Okay, the match itself. Ireland versus Bulgaria. The top box atmosphere must have been incredible.
Electric, but then you get Malfoy sneering at Hermione. That pure blood prejudice just rears its head.
Horrible. A constant dark undercurrent.
And then Viktor Krum arrives. The stadium goes wild.
Instant superstar. And
Arr.
completely starstruck.
Total hero worship. It's funny, but maybe shows rookie feeling a bit overshadowed, you know?
Yeah, maybe. Bagman's commentary is manic. Troy scores that amazing goal. Krum gets injured but keeps going.
So much happening. And the mascots. Leprechauns showering gold. The Vila.
Ah, the Vila. Definitely memorable. Their effect on the crowd.
Has that extra layer of Venom magic, but also, like, unpredictable magic.
But then it all goes horribly wrong. The riot after the match.
Such a sudden shift. Masked figures, people floating in the air, tortured.
And the dark mark hanging in the sky. Terrifying.
Yeah, Voldemort's symbol shatters any sense of peace. The threat is real, and it's back.
Bagman's reaction is strange, though, isn't it? He seems sort of distracted. It just disapparates.
Really odd. Like, his mind's somewhere else entirely. Doesn't seem too bothered by the terror unfolding. Hints at his later problems, maybe.
Could be. Then Mr. Weasley steps in, finds Winky, Crouch's house elf, with a wand near the mark.
And the big debate starts. Could an elf cast the dark mark? It brings up all the prejudice against house elves.
Mr. Weasley doesn't think so, reflecting the common view. But Hermione wonders, could Winky be framed?
Right, always thinking about the vulnerable ones. And she questions the mark's purpose. Was it support for Voldemort or meant to scare people off?
And Mr. Weasley lands on, probably a former Death Eater did it, which links straight back to those whispers about Voldemort.
Exactly. The pieces are starting to connect. Riddle House, Bertha Jorkins, now the Dark Mark. It's all building.
Okay, back to school. Hogwarts Express. Harry's scar is still bothering him, especially after seeing the mark.
A constant physical reminder. He tells Ron and Hermione, and they talk about Trelawney's predictions.
Which Hermione naturally dismisses. She needs logic, evidence, not fuzzy prophecies.
Pretty much. Then we hear Mad-Eye Moody is coming to teach, and there's that rumor about him attacking his dustbins.
What an entrance. Sets him up as paranoid, maybe a bit unhinged, but definitely focused on danger.
Constant vigilance. Yeah, the dustbin thing is funny, but it foreshadows his whole approach.
The start of Term Feast. The Great Hall ceiling is stormy, reflecting the mood. Great visual foreshadowing.
Definitely. Feels ominous. And then Dumbledore makes the big announcement.
The Triwizard Tournament is back. History, glory, 3 schools, the cup.
And 1,000 gallons prize money. That gets everyone buzzing. Huge excitement.
Beauxbatons and Durmstrang arrive in October with their potential champions. The anticipation is building for Halloween.
Adds this whole international flavor to Hogwarts. You can feel the buzz.
And Fred and George, instantly plotting how to get past the age line. 17 minimum.
Of course they are. Never met a rule they didn't want to bend. But Dumbledore's warning is serious people have died in this tournament before.
Yeah, that lands heavily. The danger is real.
And there's a powerful age charm on the Goblet of Fire itself, supposedly foolproof.
Supposedly. Right, Mad-Eye Moody. His lessons. Memorable is one word for it.
Yeah. Hagrid introduces blast-ended Scroots first, which are just bizarre. What even are they? Aggressive, no clear head.
Weird and unsettling. Adds to that feeling of unease around the school.
But Moody's first data lesson, that's the one that really makes an impact.
The unforgivable curses. Imperious Cruciatus Avada Kedavra.
And he demonstrates them on spiders. It's brutal. Shows the students the reality of dark arts.
Neville's reaction to the Cruciatus curse. Heartbreaking. You understand why later.
Oh, absolutely. That deep trauma. And Moody's just hammering home constant vigilance leaves a real mark.
Okay, Halloween. Selection night. Beauxbatons arrive in that enormous carriage.
Pulled by giant ringed horses, Madame Mexty makes quite an entrance.
And Karkaroff turns up in a ship that emerges from the lake. Very dramatic, Durmstrang style.
They definitely know how to arrive in style. Sets the stage for the big moment.
Students are putting their names in the goblet. Hopeful, nervous, rumors flying about kids trying to cheat the age line.
The tension must be incredible. Everyone wanting that glory.
The feast happens. Everyone's waiting. And the goblet spits out the names. Fleur Delacour, Beauxbatons,
Yep. Then Viktor Krum, Durmstrang.
and then Cedric Diggory for Hogwarts. Big cheers.
And then the goblet flares again. Everyone's stunned.
It spits out. Harry Potter.
Pandemonium, utter shock, breaks all the rules. Ha!
Exactly. Maxime and Karkaroff are furious. 2 Hogwarts champions.
Moody makes that weird comment, doesn't seem remotely upset about it, does he? So cryptic. Fleur's outraged, too.
And Harry just keeps saying, I didn't put my name in, but people are looking at him sideways.
Especially Ron. That's the killer blow, isn't it?
Yeah.
His best mate doesn't believe him. Huge fight, really painful.
Yeah, that rift is serious. Okay, the wand weighing ceremony. Kind of official, kind of weird.
And Bagman's there, still weirdly cheerful about Harry being the 4th champion. Like, nothing's wrong.
Oblivious. Or something else. And Ollivander checks the wands. Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, connects the Wandwoods and cores to the champions. Fleur's rosewood and Vela hair.
Cedric's ashen unicorn. Krum's hornbeam and dragon heartstring.
And Harry's holly and phoenix feather. That shared core with Voldemort's wand. Always significant.
And who crashes the party? Rita Skeeter. With her quick quotes, Quill.
Recipe for disaster right there. You just know she's going to twist everything.
Okay, first ask. Hagrid lets it slip to Harry. It's dragons.
Not exactly subtle, Hagrid. 4 different kinds. Swedish short snout, Welsh green, Chinese fireball.
And the Hungarian horntail. Nasty piece of work. Madame Maxime sees them too. She's not happy.
Puts Harry in a tricky spot. He knows, but should he? Meanwhile, he's frantically researching with Hermione.
Yeah, trying to figure out how to get past a dragon. And Sirius writes, warns him about other stuff, mentions Bertha Jorkins again.
Right, calls her nosy but no brains. Suggests she'd be easy to manipulate, ties back to her disappearance.
And Harry, showing some real class, actually warns Cedric about the dragons.
Good on him. A moment of fairness in all the madness. Shows his character, builds that respect between them.
Then they draw lots for the dragons, and Harry gets.
The Hungarian horntail, of course he does. The worst one. The stakes just keep getting higher.
But he pulls it off. Amazing flying on the firebolt, gets the golden egg, incredible bravery.
Absolutely stunning display of skill. Outflies the dragon. The judges are impressed, mostly.
And Fleur's reaction is interesting, isn't it? She hugs him and Cedric afterwards, seems genuinely impressed, maybe even sorry for her earlier reaction.
Yeah, like the shared danger maybe changed her perspective a bit. A flicker of warmth there.
Right. Then we shift gears. The Yule Ball. Teenage angst returns.
Ah! Big time. But first, Hermione gets obsessed with house elf rights, SPEW.
Society for the Promotion of Elfish Welfare. It seems kind of random timing-wise, but it's pure Hermione, always fighting for the underdog.
Totally in character. Her social conscience is always on, even if everyone else thinks she's nuts.
Delegations arrive again in their fancy transport for the ball. Very grand.
Sets the scene for this big social event. Hogwarts goes international.
Then the drama of finding dates. Harry trying and failing to ask Cho Chang. Painful.
Ron being spectacularly awkward with Fleur. Even more painful.
And the big surprise. Viktor Krum asks Hermione, and she says yes.
Ron cannot handle it. Shocks everyone. Good for Hermione, though. Shows a different side of her.
The ball itself. Harry's with Padma Patil, but not really with her. Ron's fuming about Hermione and Krum. Cedric and Cho are together. Lots of drama.
Teenage hormones and jealousy running wild. But then Cedric gives Harry that clue.
Right, the golden egg clue. Take a bath. Seems random, but crucial.
Repays Harry for the dragon warning, that camaraderie again. Sets Harry on the right path for the second task.
So, the second task. The egg just screeches above water. Makes no sense.
Totally perplexing. Harry tries everything. Then moaning Myrtle pipes up.
Yeah, tells him to put it underwater.
Yeah.
In the bath. It works. Is mer people singing?
Myrtle, actually helpful for once, points him towards the Black Lake.
Meanwhile, Moody's acting weirder about Barty Crouch. Crouch keeps disappearing from work. Moody seems really interested. Suspicious.
Yeah, Moody's constant vigilance seems very focused on Crouch. What's he suspect? Adds to the background tension.
Harry's now desperately trying to figure out how to breathe underwater for an hour. Hermione's researching like mad, but nothing quite fits.
Even Dumbledore won't give him a direct answer. Harry feels pretty alone with this problem. Shows his resourcefulness, though.
And then who saves the day? Dobby.
Little Dobby. Pops up with gillyweed right at the last minute. Says Moody suggested it? Or did he?
Dobby's loyalty is amazing, though. Comes through because he's free now and devoted to Harry.
It's a great moment for Dobby. It shows the good that came from his freedom.
So the second task begins. Harry eats the gillyweed, dives into the lake, transforms. Creepy but cool.
Down he goes, finds the merpeople village, finds the hostages, Ron, Hermione, Cho, and Fleur's little sister.
The riddle is basically, rescue your person. But Harry hesitates. He's worried about all of them, especially when Fleur doesn't show up.
Yeah, his conscience kicks in. He won't leave the others, even though it means he'll lose time. Cedric and Krum grab their hostages and go.
Harry ends up rescuing Ron and Fleur's sister. Comes up last. Gets marked down for time.
But Dumbledore gives him extra points for moral fiber. Recognizes Harry's selflessness. It says a lot about Harry's character over just winning.
True. But then Rita Skeeter strikes again. Horrible article.
Oh, the worst one yet. Paints Hermione as toying with Harry and Krum's affections. A Scarlet Woman type thing.
Vicious stuff. Ron is absolutely furious, defending Hermione. Good to see.
Yeah, shows his loyalty despite the Krum jealousy. He knows Rita's lying.
Meanwhile, Snape is still suspicious of Harry. Accuses him of stealing from his office. Mentions Moody having a fan club for Harry. And something about a clear potion.
Snape just won't let up. Adds to that feeling of mistrust. What's the potion about? More secrets.
Then Sirius manages to sneak back near Hogwarts. Meets the trio in Hogsmeade.
Risky move. But he brings crucial info about Barty Crouch and his son.
Yeah, reveals Crouch Sr. broke his own son out of Azkaban. The son who was caught with Death Eaters. And everyone thought he died.
Huge revelation. Sirius thinks Crouch Sr. is obsessed with his reputation, covered it all up. Connects back to Crouch's weird behavior now. It's all starting to point somewhere dark.
Okay, third task announcement. Bagman says it's straightforward. A maze. Get to the cup in the middle.
Sounds simple, but Hagrid's providing obstacles, and there are spells to break. Not so simple. Points leaders. Harry and Cedric get a head start.
But then Mr. Crouch shows up near the grounds, looking completely mad, raving, trying to get to Dumbledore. Harry and Krum see him.
Yeah, he's rambling about his son, about needing to warn Dumbledore about something. Then he disappears again. Really disturbing. What does he know?
It ramps up the tension massively. Then, inside the maze during the task, Harry finds Krum. But Krum seems controlled. He attacks Fleur, then later Cedric. Harry has to stun him.
Definitely not normal, Krum. Clear signs someone is messing with the task from the inside. It's incredibly dangerous. Someone trying to clear the path for Harry. Or seem to be.
Harry and Cedric end up helping each other reach the cup together. They decide to take it at the same time. A noble gesture.
Seems like the fair thing to do. But just as they touch it, Cedric asks, "Did anyone tell you the cup was a portkey?"
Chilling last words, basically. Because bam, they're whisked away, not back to the start of the maze.
No. They land in a dark, spooky graveyard. Instantly know something is terribly wrong.
A graveyard scene.
Yeah.
Horrifying. Wormtail appears carrying this bundle. There's a massive cauldron.
And Wormtail performs the ritual, bone of the father, flesh of the servant, blood of the enemy, Harry's blood.
And from the cauldron, Voldemort rises. Physically restored. It's the moment the whole wizarding world feared.
Truly terrifying. And his speech afterwards to the Death Eaters he summons. It's chilling.
Yeah, calling them out for abandoning him, punishing Wormtail, gloating. Pure evil and power on display.
He summons his followers, even those who claimed innocence, like Malfoy's father. Uses the Cruciatus curse freely. Total dominance.
Then he turns to Harry, forces him into a duel.
And their wands connect. That twin core thing. Priori incantatum happens.
Echoes, ghosts, whatever they are, start emerging from Voldemort's wand. People he killed. Cedric, Frank Bryce, Bertha Jorkins.
And James and Lily Potter, Harry's parents. They offer him brief protection, encouragement. It's an incredibly powerful, emotional moment.
Cedric's echo asks Harry to take his body back to his dad. Heartbreaking.
So selfless, even as a ghost. Harry, using that momentary distraction, grabs Cedric's body, summons the Portkey Cup.
And escapes. Lands back at Hogwarts with Cedric's lifeless body. The horror, the shock.
Unimaginable. The cheers turn to screams. Dumbledore realizes instantly what's happened.
Harry has to recount everything to Dumbledore, Moody, Snape, Sirius, and Fudge, the minister who's there.
And then Moody starts acting even weirder. Takes Harry away.
And reveals himself. It wasn't Moody at all. It was Barty Crouch Jr. using Polyjuice Potion all year.
Mind-blowing twist. He admits everything. Putting Harry's name in the goblet, helping him through the tasks, killing his own father, all to deliver Harry to Voldemort. The master plan revealed.
But Fudge, he just won't accept it. Refuses to believe Voldemort is back. Says Crouch Jr. is clearly insane, acting alone.
Denial. Pure, dangerous denial. He accuses Dumbledore and Harry of lying or being confused. It's infuriating.
Sets up that huge conflict for the next book, the Ministry burying its head in the sand.
Dumbledore stands firm, though. Tells Fudge they've reached a parting of the ways. It's a defining moment. The battle lines are drawn.
And Dumbledore has to tell the school about Cedric. His tribute is so moving, emphasizing Cedric being loyal, fair, a true Hufflepuff, a good person killed by evil.
Such a somber end to the school year, acknowledges the darkness that's returned.
Just a couple of loose ends tied up. Hermione figures out Rita Skeeter's secret.
Brilliant Hermione works out Rita's an unregistered animagus, a beetle. That's how she got all her sneaky soups.
Finally makes sense. And Fred and George find out about Ludo Bagman.
Yeah, turns out he bet heavily against Harry with goblins, lost big time, and did a runner. So Harry's Triwizard winnings, gone.
Rough deal. But Harry does something amazing with the gold he did get from Bagman earlier for the clue.
Gives it all to Fred and George. Tells them to start their joke shop, Weasley's Wizard Wheezes.
And buy Ron some decent dress robes. So generous, especially after everything. Shows his priorities. Friendship over gold.
Absolutely. Great moment for Harry and for the twins' future.
And the very end. Harry dreading going back to the Dursleys, but Mrs. Weasley promises to get him away later in the summer. A little bit of warmth.
That Weasley hug is exactly what he needs. A reminder he has a real family waiting for him.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive into Goblet of Fire really shows a massive turning point, doesn't it? From those early dark hints to Voldemort's full, terrifying return.
Absolutely. The journey through the tournament, the fun, the danger, it all leads to that graveyard. You've really seen how interconnected everything was. The Riddle House, Bertha, the Cup, Crouch Jr., it was all one horrifying plan.
Yeah, Voldemort's plan was intricate. And it highlights, like you said, the importance of noticing things, the cost of prejudice with Winky, and definitely the danger of denial, like Fudge.
And the strength of friendship, tested to its limits but ultimately enduring. Cedric's death is a huge loss, a symbol of the stakes now.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What was Voldemort's plan B if Harry hadn't been picked? What if Frank Bryce hadn't overheard anything?
Exactly. And looking forward, Fudge's denial, what chaos is that going to cause? This year really sets the stage for the darkness to come. It's a foundation for understanding that escalating war.
A crucial, complex, and ultimately tragic year. Thanks for digging into it with us.